Hello beautiful creatures, welcome back to my channel Phyrra. If you're new here, my name is Cordelia and I love bright and colorful alternative makeup, gothic fashion, mental health, pets, and lifestyle. So if you want to join in the conversation with me, please be sure to click that little subscribe button down below and don't forget to ring that bell. So today's video is going to be a get ready with me on this look. You guys had asked for a tutorial on this liner look that I did for hooded eyes, so I put one together. I did slightly different colors than last time, and I did show you like how to use loose eyeshadow and loose highlighter in this because that's something you had asked about. I'm still planning to do another new dedicated video on how to use loose eyeshadow and loose powder products in case you need help with that. So for this Get Ready With Me, I'm really talking about the future of my channel, changes I'm making to my channel and my blog, and then things that have been going on in my life. So if you're interested in hearing about those things, please keep watching. I've already applied my eyeshadow primer. It's the Concrete Minerals Glitter Eye Primer. It's clear. I used a Bdellium Tools brush to brush it all over my eye area and under my eyes to get started for this look. I'm going to be using the Vampire Cosmetics Vincent Price palette, and I'm going to use the color right here, Mask. It is a very vibrant neon color. And I'm taking a Sigma E25 brush and I'm going to pop that into the socket of my eye and start applying and blending. I put it at the center and I'm working in and out from the center in a windshield wiper motion. So as I mentioned, I'm going to be enacting some changes to my blog and my YouTube, and I wanted to talk to you about them. As you've heard me mention a lot recently, I've been blogging for 15 years and doing YouTube for about 14 years. So that's quite a long time to be doing anything, because I went cruelty-free in 2012 and it's 2023. I love supporting the cruelty-free movement. I absolutely enjoy focusing and sharing cruelty-free and vegan brands, much like I enjoy sharing brands that are indie with you, but I am really tired of the virtue signaling and the purity people, purity culture, the people that I'm never enough for. I'm really, really tired of. And what do I mean by that? I mean the people who say, because you're not vegan, you don't eat vegan, it's not good enough. Well, I can't eat vegan because of my health issues. It is not healthy for me. But being cruelty-free has absolutely had a positive impact on my life. When my last vehicle was ready to be replaced, because I drive my cars until they die, the wheels fall off and you can't do anything else with them, I downsized from an SUV to my Prius. So I have a Prius, it's a hybrid, and that's much better for the environment and the environmental impact. I work from home, but I've worked from home since 2011, which is also another great thing for the environment. I don't have children, which is another great thing for the environment. And just to be clear, just because I am doing these things, I'm not saying that's what you or anyone else has to do. I'm just saying that these are the choices that I made for me that were the right choices. And I love doing things. I love focusing on indie brands. I love, focusing on cruelty-free, but I'm very tired of the purity police and the people who like to virtue signal, well, it's not enough, you don't do enough, or because you don't have the exact same beliefs as me, I'm going to harass you and threaten you until you do. I'm over that. I'm done with it. So I am going to continue to focus on indie brands. I am going to continue to shop cruelty-free, but I'm not going to make such a big focus, I'm no longer going to listen to the people who complain that I'm not doing enough. I'm over it, because it causes me a lot of stress. And, I do makeup because it's my hobby and it's fun, and I love playing with makeup. I love playing with color. It wasn't really something I got to do much while growing up, and I was really pretty much discouraged from it because I guess it didn't fit my family's beliefs and Christianity, or whether I really don't know. Maybe it could have just been they just weren't really into it and didn't really want me to get into it. But because of that, when I fell in love with makeup and started playing with it, I've never wanted to stop. That's why I've made it one of my hobbies. And I feel like this eyeshadow just does not like this primer at all, which is weird because I used the glitter eye primer with the other Vampire Cosmetics palette and didn't have a problem. But I want makeup to be fun for me again and not stressful, so I'm no longer going to stress about things. I'm going to cover the brands I want to cover, And if you don't like them, you don't have to watch my channel. Nobody's holding a gun to your head forcing you to watch my channel. I used to focus a whole lot on doing tons and tons of product reviews. I used to spend thousands of dollars. I am not exaggerating. I'm talking, I would say I've spent at least $40,000, if not more, over the past 15 years on my blog and on my YouTube channel, between paying for just products or equipment or classes. It goes into hosting. So, you know, I no longer want to focus on buying products to review. And all the time, I want to focus on making more content than just that. But my reasoning for that is that, you know, I used to be a 3-income household. Now I'm down to 2. I've taken a step back on how hard I'm working. I'm no longer working 50 to 70 hours a week. So I'm making less money, and I'm okay with that because I need to be doing that for my own health, my mental and physical health. So it means I don't have as much disposable income, and I don't want to be spending, like I used to spend all of my disposable income on my blog, and I no longer want to do that. I want to be able to save money for retirement. I want to be able to save money for vacation. I want to be able to save money to do other things. Do you love the intensity of this color? It's fantastic. I need to blend out the edges of it next. I am going to use the Sugarpill mini fun size palette, and I'm going to take the shade Rage Quit to this one right here to blend out these edges. So what was I saying? Oh yeah, I'm no longer going to be spending all of my disposable income on makeup, and I think that's totally cool. But if it's something that bothers you, then there are plenty of other, you know, people out there doing makeup on YouTube who will be buying lots and lots of new products. That's just not going to be my focus. I want to be focusing more on shopping my stash, taking advantage of the awesome products that I already own. I'm still open to receiving PR. I rarely receive PR anymore. And a lot of that's a personal choice because I've told people, hey, I don't have the time for it. Because when I was working 50 to 70 hours a week, I did not have the time. Like, I wanted to have the time. It would have been awesome if I'd had the time, but I did not have the time. I mentioned that going cruelty-free had influenced a lot of things in my life. It has influenced how I buy things around the house. I only buy cruelty-free products around the house. I mentioned I drive a hybrid car. I mentioned I don't have kids. Oh, that's another thing. People, I had people hating on me because not all of my dogs were adopted. Well, I think I explained in one of the videos that I tried to find a standard poodle to adopt for 2 years and couldn't find one. To find Miss Amaya, my darling girl that's on the bed with Nix, who I guess you can't see behind me at the moment, you know, I drove 2,100 miles. I drove up to northeastern Ohio from Tampa, Florida, so I could adopt her. And that's not always an option. I was only able to do that because the person who had rescued her basically a friend of mine contacted her to, you know, say I was a trustworthy person, because a lot of times people don't want to adopt dogs through state lines. It just doesn't often happen. And there are not always in my area I just could not ever get a standard poodle. I belong to the Florida Poodle Rescue. In fact, that's who I made as my charity donation on Amazon Smile. So whenever I use Amazon Smile, it goes to Florida Poodle Rescue, which is awesome. But I feel like I've had to deal with all of these people being super judgmental and trying to push their beliefs on me. And it's made me really unhappy. And I was talking to a friend, and she's like, well, you know, you should just tell people you're not going to do that anymore. And so that's what I'm doing. I am using an IT Cosmetics N105 brush with my Fenty 105 powder. And I'm just doing this to further blend the edges of that bright pink. I went through a lot of changes in the past 5 years, and I'm no longer living life for anybody but me. So I'm not letting people, you know, sit there and try to shame me for doing the things that I do. I do a lot to give back. I do a lot for cruelty free. I do the best that I can. I utilize the harm reduction mindset. I recently started watching Hannah Louise, I think it's Poston. Her videos are awesome. I'm not necessarily into her eyeshadow style because I obviously like to wear brights. I like wearing purples, blues, greens, teals, hot pinks. I like wearing brights, and you know, she seems to, at least with the videos I've watched, wear a lot more of browns, and you know, they're very nice in her. I love her skin though. She has great skin. But I like her wanting to shop her stash mindset and talking about how she likes to dupe for the kind of same vibes, and that really speaks to me. Over the past year and a half, I have made, you know, DIY palettes for friends, just creating them out of swatching my collection and saying, hey, this is the vibe you're going for. This is, you know, what I can find mostly out of like my Lethal Cosmetics and Terra Moon's Cosmetics, sometimes my Phyrra and Baby Bat. So I have lots and lots of great single eyeshadows as well as palettes to draw from to do these things. I really enjoy it. So I think that that's what I'm going to continue to do. That's what I'm going to do more of on my channel. A little more about the cruelty-free. Part of why I took a step back from that was because I invested a lot of money into creating a cruelty-free database on my blog. You know, it just never really took off the way I had hoped. It did okay. And, you know, I used to update it all the time. Sorry. When the information came out that PETA's list was trustworthy, just as trustworthy as Leaping Bunnies, I realized I'm tired of being part of the purity police. I'm not going to do this anymore. It's not something that's fun for me. So I'm just going to do the best that I can. And I refer people to PETA and Leaping Bunnies lists because I feel like those are going to be more accurate, more up to date. I'm going to use the NYX pencil in gray. There are a lot of brands that are working with PETA and Leaping Bunny to go cruelty-free in China. I think that's awesome. I've even heard that MAC is actually working towards getting cruelty-free status again, which honestly makes me happy. MAC was my first makeup love. I still remember in 1999 when my ex-husband took me to the freestanding MAC store. I think it was in San Mateo. And that's where I fell in love with makeup. I didn't really know much of what to do with it. I think I bought like 2 or 3 eyeshadows. Like I bought like lipstick, eyeshadow, foundation, because he was like, well, you need to have these things. And I was like, okay, because I really didn't know much, but whatever. Some of the first eyeshadows I ever bought, you know, were MAC. I used to think MAC was like everything. I remember the first time I saw Sephora and I was like, oh, do you carry MAC? And they were like, no. I was like, oh, I'm not interested in going in then. So it was hilarious. Like looking back to me, that's hilarious. But yeah, I've just been so tired of people who just constantly complain about everything I do. It's you know, I understand. I've always understood that you can never please everyone. You can never make everybody happy. But I don't know if I just particularly have had some haters or I don't know. I don't know what it is. I've just had people who've been really cranky about, well, this isn't good enough. And I'm tired of it. It's what I'm going to do. And if you don't like what I'm doing, don't watch. I am making YouTube videos and content on my blog for me and for my friends, people who I think will enjoy it. And if you don't enjoy it, I totally understand. I have never made a ton of money off of YouTube. I make at most about $100 a month. And I pay for every video that I release on my channel. I pay money because I am paying Rev.com for my transcription service. And I do this because I'm somebody who has issues with auditory processing, and so whenever I watch TV or videos or anything, I put on captions so that I can make sure I can hear it and understand it so I'm not missing anything. And so I pay Rev.com to do that for my channel because I can do transcriptioning. I'm just not particularly fond of doing it. When I got my degree in anthropology, that was one of the things that they made us do was transcription. So, been there, done that, really don't want to do it again. I am going to use the About Face Eclipsed Glitter Brow Gel. All of my favorite products from About Face have been their glitter products. I love their glitter brow products the most, but I also really enjoy their glitter lipstick and their glitter eyeshadows. I have cut a lot of people out of my life. I cut a lot of fake friends, people that I thought were friends, out of my life. And life has been so much better without them. Without all the people who were drama people, narcissists. Life is just so much better. So much less stressful. Which is why I'm continuing to try to reduce stress in every area of my life. I am going to add some like iridescence to the center part of my lid by using Silk Naturals Mermaid. And how I'm going to do that is I'm going to take this NYX 43 brush. I put some of the loose eyeshadow in the lid. And I'm going to spritz my brush first. And I'm just going to dab it into a little bit of that eyeshadow. I'm going to brush this onto the center of my lid because I wanted to add the little bit of blue iridescence before I take the next step. But this is a great way to apply a loose eyeshadow with a damp brush. I am still on a fitness journey, and you may or may not know, but for my fitness journey, I eat very high protein. I eat low carb, but I don't avoid carbs quite as much as I used to when I was keto. I'm going to go back to the Sigma E25 and just kind of blend at these edges a little bit. I'm trying to focus right now on eating at least 100 grams of protein a day. It's better if I can eat 125 to 130. I'm in the process of putting on muscle, or doing my best to put on muscle. My current workout routine is I walk 5 miles a day with my husband and the girls, and I work out in the gym. What I do for that's strength training, and what I do for strength training is I have a pull day, a push day, and leg day, and then I have a rest day. So I do 3 days on, 1 day off. The reason I have started doing this is because it seems to be much easier for me to avoid injury. I kept injuring myself over and over again because I would try to do too much at once. And that's because I'm like, well, I'm 44. I need to try and put on as much muscle as I can, as fast as I can. And no, it's more important that you don't injure yourself in the process. But, you know, sometimes I'm stubborn. And I love the walking. Like, the walking is my favorite thing to do every day. When I can't walk because, like, I've injured myself or done something, it makes me really depressed. Like, I was actually surprised by, like, the last time I hurt myself and I couldn't walk, I was like, what am I doing with myself? I've cut way back on the amount of TV that I watch. Not because I think that there's anything wrong with TV, but because I'm spending, 2 to 3 hours a day being physically active, and at least 2 of those hours are outdoors and with the girls, because I think it's really good for me. And it's been so much better for my mental health, being able to be active and outdoors and just not feeling like I'm chained to a desk all day. It's another one of the reasons why I love remote work, working from home, is the freedom to be able to get up and move around as you need. Not to mention not having somebody at your desk interrupting you every 5 minutes, wanting to talk about office gossip. I do not miss that at all. That was annoying. I like to get into my flow with work and then just like get it done. Because if I get into the flow, I'll get everything done and look up and, like 3 or 4, like I'd say 3 hours have passed. I try to not let myself sit for more than like 2 hours at a time because it's really not good for your like body. So I try to get up and move around. Like Dave always wants me to move around every hour, but I'm like, no, I'm in the middle of something. I can't do that. So I try to do the right thing, but sometimes I don't. This is a NYX brush. I'm not sure what the number is. I think because the number's mostly worn off. I think it might have been a 36, but I'm going to use it to apply Danessa Myricks Pixie Dust, which are her chrome flakies. And I like the chrome flakies that come in the jar. I find them the easiest to work with. I've had people ask, like, how much do I eat in a day? I eat somewhere between 3 to 5 times a day, so it depends on what I'm eating. I do whole foods as much as possible. I avoid added sugar. I try to avoid processed foods, but there are some processed foods that I do eat just because sometimes it is convenient, and I do happen to like them, and they're at least on the healthier side because I buy a lot of organic stuff. Among my favorite foods that I eat daily, I eat fresh blueberries that are organic. I eat avocados. I don't focus on my avocados being organic because they have a skin and you don't eat the skin. I do eat, one of the processed foods I eat is my Icelandic yogurt ciggies. I also eat like whole bags of organic vegetables, either as a snack. Yeah, I'd say usually as a snack. So like I buy, our local grocery store is Publix, and so I buy their organic brand of peas or peas and carrots or peas, carrots, corns, green beans, or broccoli, and eat that because I love eating vegetables. What I do is I put, I don't know, like I eat an entire bag, so I put like maybe somewhere between half a tablespoon to a tablespoon of ghee on it to give it a little bit of like a buttery flavor, and then I put on Himalayan sea salt. I'm going to use my Nabla Cupid's Arrow in black. And this is a Real Techniques brush that is angled, and it's meant for people who have I think problems holding brushes are problems with their hands, so I think it's really cool. I particularly find this useful because of how it's bent. It makes it very easy to tightline my hooded eyes. Part of why I broke my sugar addiction years ago was because it helps you to reset your tastes. So if you're somebody who didn't like the taste of, say, fruit, which I do love the taste of fruit, I've always loved it, it helps you reset it so that it tastes better because you don't have like the sugar to compare it to. It took about, I think it takes about 2 weeks to break sugar addiction. One of the things I think that sucks in America is that there's like not a lot of truth in labeling. There's a lot of food that is the least expensive is often filled with sugar, high fructose corn syrup, and a lot of things that are not good for you. I have a lot of food allergies, so for me, like, I can't have soy, I can't have seitan, I can't have bell peppers, I can't have paprika. In fact, I can't eat most nightshades anymore at all. Can't have eggplant. Can't eat raw garlic. I can only eat garlic anymore if it's thoroughly cooked because my body will revolt. I can eat tomatoes sometimes, but usually only Campari tomatoes. In fact, one of my favorite meals that Dave and I make about 3 to 5 times a week is our friend Natty's like famous salad, her favorite salad. So I cannot eat raw red onions anymore. I can't eat olives. I'm going to line at the outer part of my eye and drag it out because we're going to do that double liner thing today. But I have all this food that I can't eat, and rather than feeling sorry for myself and being like, well, this sucks, life sucks because I can't eat all these cool things that I used to enjoy, I've just tried to embrace what I can. So I eat like this awesome salad that's Natty salad, and the way we currently make it is, I can make it work. Oh yeah, so the way we make the salad is we basically use 2 containers of organic butterhead lettuce, because Dave and I eat a container of lettuce each when we're making the salad. And we put in half a container of Campari tomatoes that are quartered because we love Campari tomatoes. We put in an entire block of feta cheese because we love feta cheese. And let's see, we put in 2 to 3 avocados depending how hungry we are, and I dice those up so that they're like really small. And then we put in lemon juice and olive oil and raw honey to make like the dressing, and then like basically you have to use your hands to mash it all up. So I have to put gloves on because I can't stand to get stuff under my nails. It's just like, no, can't do it, too gross. But we love making the salad. It's really healthy. So we do it, like I said, 3 to 5 times a week. And we can put other things in it. This is the Sigma Samantha Ravindal brush, like winged eyeliner brush. I'm going to use this to just help make this a little thinner. But with a salad, you can absolutely like add in other things. Sometimes I do like hard-boiled eggs, and sometimes we'll dice up chicken, but we do that a lot. One of my like indulgent foods that I have on occasion is this organic, like it's an organic microwave meal. So one of my favorite indulgent meals that I do on occasion is this organic buttered chicken microwave dish. It has 3 grams of added sugar, which that's not great, but that's pretty much the only added sugar I have in my day other than whatever is in my yogurt. Because Dave and I both have so many food issues and food allergies, because I'm gluten sensitive and he is also gluten sensitive to a much worse degree than I am, we pretty much cook at home all the time. We don't go out very often. If we go out for sushi or pad thai, or like basically Thai food or sushi, and sometimes Mexican food. But for the most part, we do all of our own cooking now, which if you told me 5 years ago that would be the case, I don't know that I would have believed you, because 5 years ago I didn't really know how to cook or do anything. And I was like so stupidly proud of that when it's really not great. But my ex-husband did all of the cooking at that time. I am much happier now that I know how to take care of myself more like an adult and not have to rely on somebody for that. So some of the things that I really enjoy making are baked salmon. I have a Ninja air fryer, which I absolutely love. I use that to make scallops, and I also will use that to make steak. We only buy stuff that's no antibiotics ever, grass-fed, grass-finished, locally raised. This is a Sigma E20 short shader, and I'm just going to use this to try and sort of smoke this liner a little bit more. I mentioned that basically because of all of our food issues, we pretty much eat at home most of the time, just because it's safer. When I go out to restaurants, I mean, you probably don't know about this because you probably don't have this issue, but bell pepper is in so many foods, just like soy, and both of those really cause me problems. Put on some mascara. This is the Thrive Cosmetics Mascara Bryn, the black shade. I also like making eggs in many different ways. I love making blueberry muffins from scratch because I make it all with like almond flour, make cheesecake. Love making cheesecake from scratch. It's so much fun. It's why I have my kitchen mixers for all of the baking that I like to do. One of the tricky things that I've run into is that because I have all of my food allergies, I can't just buy most sauces off the shelf, even from like nice organic places like the Greenwise Public, which is where we do most of our shopping. I have to learn how to make my own sauce, and so I've been trying to learn to make my own butter chicken sauce and failing spectacularly. Oh, I use my Instant Pot a lot. My Instant Pot is great for making like chicken and rice, because as I mentioned, I'm not keto anymore, so I do eat rice in like small amounts. I had to go get assistance to get the stupid shrink wrap off of my pencil because I could not get it off. This is an LA Girl pencil, and the color is called Electric. I'm going to put this on my lower waterline because I think it'll be fun. I have had to learn to make sauces from scratch, and it's been challenging. So if you have any awesome sauces that are low carb, low sugar, I would love to know them. And I'm specifically looking for an easy butter chicken recipe because I would like to be able to make butter chicken in my Instant Pot, but I haven't found one that works for me. I've tried a couple and they were spectacularly bad. I am going to use double-sided, which is this multi-chrome from the Odens Hela palette. This is a great palette that I want to get more use out of in 2023. And I'm using a Sydney Grace Co. Shadow Brush. So one of my plans for 2023 is to do a in-depth review of all of my favorite indie brands so that if there's any interest, you can check them out. I feel like there is a lot of hesitation to try some of the smaller brands because some of my reviews were older, so I decided that it would be fun for me to go back and do more in-depth reviews of like a overlook at the brand. So in case you don't know, recently on my blog I did do a top indie makeup brands post, and I may also do a video on some of the stuff that's in that, but you might find it really interesting to read because it talks about like ingredients and how you can find good indies, etc. And it's stuff that like people have asked me, and I've compiled this information over the years through a lot of research. I am going to apply some face crystals. These are self-adhesive face crystals that I bought off of Amazon. I normally use my own like from nail stuff like this, but I figured I would give it a try to see if I could actually enjoy ones that I don't have to glue onto my face that already come with the adhesive on it. So, and I'm placing it just past where all of my excess skin is here. So let's see. I have changed my shopping habits drastically. As you know, I've been on a low buy since like the end of 2019, early 2020. And I'd say prior to that, I used to shop at Sephora more than Ulta. But now I really spend the majority of my shopping on Ulta or on Camera Ready Cosmetics. I do still buy on Amazon from time to time. And I do pay attention to who the seller is on Amazon to make sure that it's either directly from a brand or that it's from a seller that I don't feel is going to be shady. Unfortunately, there are a lot of what I would call just really, really shady companies that are on Amazon that sell fake stuff. But Camera Ready Cosmetics is great. They are very, very safe to shop from. They have excellent customer service. And from my impression, first and foremost, they are stocking for pro makeup artists. So they stock a lot of pro makeup artist lines. They do high performance brands. This little guy popped off. Let's see if I can get him back on. But yeah, in my experience, Camera Ready Cosmetics has impeccable customer service. Anytime you have an issue with them, you can email them and they will handle it. I had tried to pre-order something from there and got impatient and wanted to cancel it, and they were like, it's no problem. They were super kind and courteous every time I checked in about it before I canceled it. And a lot of places in my experience, if you want to cancel an order, they're just going to be like, no, sorry, can't do that. It's already in the mail, or some BS like that. Another reason I really like Camera Ready Cosmetics is that they stock a lot of high quality indie brands. So you will find indie brands like Lethal Cosmetics. You'll find Sydney Grace. You'll find a lot of really cool brands like that there, which I like. Ooh, I think I'm glad that I went with the hot pink this time because of my big earrings. So these earrings that I'm super into because they're stars and they're iridescent and I'm feeling like a very 80s vibes right now is from a company called, ISLY NYC. And they actually sent me this in PR, as well as this really cute necklace that says "Bite Me." And I am super into it. Yeah, my goal is for 2023 is to make makeup more fun for me again, to not be as stressed and not really deal with the purity culture people who I'm not enough for. If I'm not enough for you, okay, goodbye. I think I'm pretty happy with the eyes, so I'm going to move on to the rest of my face. For my complexion today, I am going to use the Danessa Myricks Prism FX Hydrating Lotion in Gold, which I've never used before. I have the original, which is like an iridescent pink. It reminds me a lot of MAC's Strobe Cream, which I absolutely love. That was like one of my favorite products from MAC. And I was so sad because I never found like a dupe that I was 100% happy with after I stopped buying from MAC. It has been pointed out to me that I can wear gold and silver. So I thought, well, let's see what a slightly gold primer looks like on my face and see if I'm into it. I think I'm into it because it looks really, really beautiful. What do you think? Yes, I'm shiny all over. Dave and I are going to have like a in-house date night tonight after I finish doing this. I'm kind of getting ready for he and I to spend time together. He is having a surgery, an outpatient procedure on Friday. And then I'm going to be taking care of him for the next 4 to 6 weeks until he's healed. And I'm putting a little bit of that Prism FX right on my like clavicle, my collarbone area, just because I like the little bit of iridescent sheen it gives. And I will have the complete list of everything that I'm using, everything I'm putting on my face, everything I'm wearing in the description box down below in case you're curious. I'm going to put on the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Blurring Balm in shade 1. My skin tone is a very fair neutral to muted cool yellow. And when exposed to sun, I apparently turn a little olive. But I tend to find my best foundation matches in products that are neutral to cool yellow. So as an example, NYX Bear With Me in Pale is a great match for my skin tone. Danessa Myricks, the NYX Pale is more of like a very fair, cool toned yellow, and that's why I think it looks great on me. It's muted, and what's good about having muted undertone or having a muted yellow is that it's more flexible for more skin tones. It's when products are extremely saturated that it makes it much harder for me in particular, or me and I guess other people who are very, very complected to match things, because it's very hard when you're like, I guess, cool yellow or olive to match undertones or to match your undertone perfectly. What I love about this product from Danessa is that it's very lightweight. It does a great job of giving me just a little bit of cover, because you know I love light coverage products, and it blurs my imperfections. Although I feel like the Prism FX Hydrating Lotion somehow helps to like blur a little bit or soften my fine lines. I think it looks really nice, especially this gold color. I might be smitten with the gold. Never thought I would say that. I do have very dry skin, so I always make sure that I prep my skin well before I do makeup with lots of hydration. And I use an SPF that works well under makeup. I use the CanMade Mermaid Skin SPF 50, which I either buy from Yes Style or I buy on Amazon from a seller called Takashi. I'll put the name in the description box in case you're curious. I'm going to use this Huda Beauty contour brush to just kind of help blend right around my nose area, because my long nails do get in the way, not gonna lie. In fact, my long nails sometimes make it difficult to do a lot of things, but I love having long nails. I love doing my own nails. Since I started doing my own nails, I've actually saved a lot of money, because I used to pay like, I don't know, $90 or more, because I always do a 20% gratuity whenever I would get my nails done. And when I started learning how to do my nails during lockdown, I decided I was probably never going to go back to having somebody else do my nails regularly, and I've stuck with that. I have no regrets. I love doing my own nails. Just recently, because I've been less stressed, I've been able to get up to wearing medium length all the time as opposed to going short. I finally figured out how to carefully work in the gym so that I can have my longer nails and still lift weights, because it's very important to me. My strength training is super important to me because I don't want to end up like my grandmother, unable to lift her grandchildren at 93. I want to be strong and healthy for as long as possible. And so for me, that means spending a lot of time, 2 to 3 hours a day, being active. And in my case, it means less time for TV, and I'm okay with that. I feel like this foundation just blends so beautifully and gives me just like the perfect amount of light coverage. I didn't use concealer today. I don't use concealer every day. When I do use concealer, I use the NYX Bear With Me concealer in Fair, because it is a great match for my skin tone. It's actually light enough that it will work and it's not too dark. All right, so for my blush today, I'm going to put on M Cosmetics. And this is the Heaven's Glow blush, and the shade is Broke. Broke is my perfect sort of neutral color, and I'm using a Real Techniques, I think this is a Rebel's Edge blush brush. I'm just going to put this on, give me some color on my cheeks. So this is my favorite neutral blush, and it's described as like a neutral beige champagne, and I have found that with my neutral to cool yellow undertones, a lot of blushes end up going what I would consider warm on me because of that yellow. And so things that might be neutral on other people might look more orange on me. So that's why I tend to gravitate towards very, very, very cool colors. I'm just taking this regular powder brush this is another Rebel Edge brush from Real Techniques, but I like going over my blush just to make sure it's nice and blended. I'm going to use Silk Naturals Jelly Bean highlighter, and it's kind of like this pinky purple color. You can see I have it loose in the lid. So I'm going to take this small brush. This is actually a Delium Tool 7A7 brush, and I'm going to dip it into the highlighter. And I'm tapping off the excess back into the jar, then tapping off my finger. And then I'm going to just kind of highlight here, put a little bit of highlight here, a little bit of highlight here, a little bit around here. I can't remember if it was Robert Welsh or Hannah Louise Poston or who I was watching. Maybe it was Julia Adams, but somebody I was watching was talking about highlighting slightly different points. so that it's more visible, and I decided I wanted to give that a try. I don't think I got the exact points right that she did, but we'll see. It's just fun to me to try new things. Oh my god, that's way too much. So if you make a mistake with loose shadow like I just did, take another brush, like a dense brush, and just start brushing at it to try and blend it out. If you really, really hate what you did, like I just did, because I really should not have just been like, yay, let's put it all over without tapping off the brush. What I would do is what I'm going to do. Go back with a little bit more of your foundation and just kind of like tone it down. That's another great thing about this blurring balm powder from Danessa Myricks, is that you can put it under foundation, you can put it on top of foundation, you can put it under powder, you can put it on top of powder. It has a lot of flexibility. So if you make a mistake like I just did, and I guess it's not a mistake if we're thinking about Bob Ross terms, it's a happy little accident. But you can go back and fix it. Now I am going to put on my KVD Scully lip pencil. By the way, is it just me? Or where have all of the fun lipstick shades gone? I feel like so many brands who were known for having like bold and unusual colors have gotten rid of them. You know, sometimes it bugs me that my lips are never, like my lip line is uneven, and I try to figure out how to correct it and it still looks weird. So then I remind myself my face is not perfectly symmetrical. Very few people have very symmetrical faces, and that's just how it is. I am going to use the Vampire Cosmetics Dracula lipstick. This is such a great liquid lipstick. It's a fabulous black. They actually have fun lipstick colors like blue and green and purple, which I really need to do a lip swatch video for you of all of their colors. So you may have heard me mention before that I'm not on TikTok. I'm not on TikTok for my mental health. And you know, you should never be afraid to avoid a specific like social media platform or something for your health. I'm not on Facebook very much. The only place I go on Facebook anymore is the Phyrra Facebook group, or there's like another nail group I'm in, and there's like a lounge chill group I'm in, but that's it. I don't go on there for any other reason because I don't want to see like things that other people are saying about politics. I don't want to hear it because I don't care, but because there's only so much you can do at a time, and there is such a thing as compassion fatigue, and I've hit that spot. I am going to put on, this is Terra Moon's Gloss Fractal Abyss, and what I have found with this gloss is to really make the most of the color to get the iridescence to shine through. I like to put on a thin layer, and then I need to go get a tissue so I can blot it down. I grabbed some toilet paper to blot. I wanted to show you what the lips look like before I blot though, so you can see the difference. So let me zoom in. You can see a little bit of the blue and purple iridescence, but it's not as strong. And now it's going to be even stronger. But as I was saying, you know, if you don't want to be on a specific social media platform such as TikTok or Facebook or even Instagram, don't. I've had a lot of friends try to pressure me into joining TikTok, and I'm just not interested in it. It's really it's a stressful platform for me because it's sensory overload, and I'm really sensitive to that, so I can't do it. It's just too much for me. So this is my finished look. Let me zoom in so you can see up close. If I had it to do over again, I would change the angle of my liners, but overall I love like how this looks. I think it's really pretty with the iridescence and then like the flakies. So thank you so much for joining me for this Get Ready With Me and hearing about the future of my channel. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I want you to know I am always open still to review requests or DIY palette requests, so don't be afraid to reach out. Just, you know, don't be mean and angry towards me if I don't like a brand that you like, and if, you know, I don't want to cover them, or if I am covering a brand that you don't like, don't be upset with me. It's okay for us to disagree. The important thing to me is that I want to have fun and have a good time and have this be stress-free. So yeah, anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you so much for spending time with me. I love you, and I'll see you next time. Bye.